a guy who hasn't come out slow, Jaden Daniels, huh?
Oh, man. Okay, if y'all ever seen two rookies so far from the same university, Jaden Daniels and Paul Skeens just knocking it like crazy?
No.
I mean, that's I hope. I mean, I really hope Jaden stays healthy the whole year because that's going to be the greatest rookie baseball football combo maybe in the history of professional sports if Jaden stays on track.
And we're forgetting Brian Thomas Jr.
Skeens has done it. It's historic.
I can't believe, I shouldn't be surprised by this at all, I suppose. James didn't want to talk about politics at all. He was bored. And then all of a sudden you talk.
Jaden Daniels is perked up. How about
that? He was totally bored with what it is that we were doing. And then you asked him a sports question and look at him. He lit up. He's radiant.
I mean, this man is the biggest LSU football fan in America. How do you get that title? I mean.
I don't know. I'm very passionate about him. I went there. I don't know, 25 of my siblings, nephews, nieces, parents, aunts, uncles. I mean, it's just a long tradition of Carville's going to LSU, and we love it, and it's affordable.
What do we make of Brian Kelly? Is he on the hot seat yet, James? I feel like we're getting close, don't you?
Why?
Well, because
we're not even 500, and he comes, and we go 10-3 for 2 years.
Yeah.
We got the number one recruiting or number two recruiting class for 2025.
Mm-hmm.
But what is this? Let me address this. I hear this crap all the time. He comes and says, LSU stole Brian Kelly from Notre Dame. It was just about money. Well, Brian Kelly was 12-0 at Cincinnati. Notre Dame stole him from Cincinnati. But why is it okay to steal a coach from Cincinnati but not steal a coach from Notre Dame?
Yeah.
And why in the hell would Brian Kelly be on any hot seat right now?
Well, I just feel like we're starting to settle, Jimmy. Like we're here, we expect these big things, and all of a sudden it's just like, second best.
Coach O wins championships.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
You know what our record was in 2020 and 2021?
What was it?
All right, come on, man. It was under 500. Y'all the national media has the most selective memory of any people I've ever dealt. What is it? It's not just true in politics, it's true in sports.
Yeah, Billy.
Yeah, but then Coach O came in and Joe Burrow, and they changed the expectations for LSU, didn't they? And now we're just back to settling.
It was the greatest college football team in history. We were 20-6 the last 2 years. We were under 500 the 2 years before that. I mean, come on, man. We're not really having this. And by the way, next year, and after this year, for the next 3 years, we're golden. I mean, the guy's been there 2 years, and because he left Notre Dame, the media hates him because we just love Notre Dame. How could LSU be so mean as to take a Notre Dame coach away? What are we going to cover on Saturday? We don't have the Golden Dome and Touchdown Jesus, We got to go there with a bunch of Cajuns, eating weird food in the parking lot of the game.
I think that maybe perhaps some people heard Brian Kelly's attempt at a wonderful accent such as yours and thought that he was perhaps a little phony. Yeah. Care to comment on that?
All right. Yeah, I'll comment on it. Imitation is flattery.
Yeah.
So, all right, the guy comes down. If I tried to speak in a Boston Irish brogue, I couldn't do it very well myself. But, if you try.
Can you try?
Try it, please.
Bastard. What I can get at. But why would someone be offended because you tried to appropriate our culture?
Well,
that's great. Joe Burrow was not from Louisiana. They called him Burrow, E-A-U-X. But I just think everybody in the national media just can't believe he left Notre Dame. We love Notre Dame so much. The whiny crap.
You're really,
he's right though.
You are really, you're really hung up on this. Let's play for James at the risk of upsetting him. Let's play for James how bad this Brian Kelly accent was.
It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family, and we are so excited to be in the great state of Louisiana, but more importantly, to be with you great fans.
Liking you. You want to go a few minutes? Okay.
Oh, we got the approval from the publicist. The publicist was going to cut us off.
That's because we're talking sports.
That is absolutely right. James, what else are you fired up about in sports? What pisses you off? What else are you mad about?
Well, I'm not too mad. I mean, I think the conference realignment. I think the SEC. I mean, I look how many must-see games we got. I'm excited about Texas and Oklahoma being in the conference. I was a little. I hope our baseball team comes back. We won women's basketball, baseball, gymnastics, all in a 2-year period. And hopefully our basketball team did better last year than anybody thought. Almost like 500 in the conference. So hopefully we make some progress there. But I'm really excited about the future of LSU football too. We got a really good crop of kids coming up. But it's a tough world out there. We play in a very tough neighborhood.
Kim Mulkey turned the women around, huh,
She
Jim?
sure did.
Yeah.
She sure did.
Yeah.
National championship, and I think we're Elite 8 last year. And from everything I read, they're going to be pretty good now. And these games are sellouts.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing I've seen in my life in sports is the explosion in women's sports. And I'll tell you the truth, the women's basketball college game is they let them play harder than the men do. They play a fast brand of basketball, I think. In terms of the Saints, it was bad Sunday.
Oh.
Don't get me started on that. We take a timeout with 1 minute to go.
Right. You got yourself started.
3rd and 2. I mean, what are y'all thinking? Not very much. But but I tell you, got again with Jaden Daniels and Paul Skeens, you can't get any more exciting than that.
So have you been watching Pirate games just because Skeens throws 100 miles an hour and strikes everybody out?
When he's on, I tend to, I can't tell you that I'm, dying to see the August game between the Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds. But if Skeens is pitching, yeah, I do. It's pretty interesting to see. It really is.
How do you manage this though as an LSU fan? Kim Mulkey seems awful.
Kim Mulkey, what?
Seems like an awful person.
She seems awful. Like she seems.
She's not awful.
She seems like it.
Right. She's competitive. Mm-hmm. And this guy in the L.A. Times writes a story about how pristine and precious the UCLA basketball team is, and how the LSU team is a bunch of Bayou rogues or something. We're used to that kind of stuff. All right. We're used to, UCLA and Notre Dame. Come on. How can you be any better than that? How dare some place on the Mississippi River dare challenge their sports supremacy? I mean, my God. Sometimes people in the national sports media don't have any idea of how ridiculous they sound to people in the rest of America. Mm-hmm. And we saw that in that article, in that lead-up article to the UCLA LSU game.
Well, that article.
Kim Mulkey likes to win. Guess what? She will try to beat your ass every time.
That is correct. Yeah. That article was super racist. But Kim Mulkey's politics, you tolerate other people's politics in a way that makes you married to Mary Madeline, whose politics are diametrically opposed to yours for 30 years.
Well, I don't know if I agree. I don't know. I'm not sure what Bill Belichick's politics is, but if I was going to bet on the game, I thought he was going to win. I'd bet on it. Another thing is they're athletic people. They're sports people. Who knows? Kim's from Tickfaw, Louisiana. Would you like for me to take you to Tickfaw one day? Explain a lot. But she didn't grow up in the top carnival crew in New Orleans, or she didn't grow up in the, sophisticated Union League or something. But she's a tough competitor, and that's what you want in a coach. What she does in politics, I don't care. I don't think some of her political views have been exaggerated over the years anyway. That's not important. That's not very important to me, right? But this
elitism bothers you, right? Like you seem to be getting bothered by elitism. I'm
not bothered by elitism itself. I think Milos Forman, who directed The People versus Larry Flint, he said, James, what's with the elites? They cure the diseases. They write the books. All right. I mean, I don't have, but what I do have is when people just take a reflexive view that everything about UCLA and Notre Dame is good and everything about LSU is bad. That's where I get reflexive about things. All right. But I look, if somebody that went to Northwestern Journalism School and is covering sports, I don't have a problem with that.
Oh, so it's just Notre Dame. It's just Notre Dame.
Of course it is.
It's not just Notre Dame. It's
UCLA as well.
UCLA as well.
Yeah.
Throw some other teams in there.
It's mostly Notre Dame, though. What seems to be bothering you the most is just generally Notre Dame.
Well, generally all the whining and carping about Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame and, Grantland Rice and the Four Horsemen. And,
you can have Brian
all that
Kelly.
Shit, the Notre Dame box and Johnny Lujack,
Johnny Lujack.
But James, to their credit, a big win over Louisville this past week to get back into playoff contention.
Yeah,
Notre Dame.
I had them, and it was they covered actually. I mean, I even bet on Notre Dame. I was getting smoked this year, but I had a good comeback with the Ravens Sunday.
You get the feeling, though, and I don't know if it's just me and maybe the whole there does seem to be nationally this Notre Dame bias where if there is a bubble team and it comes down to like an LSU or a Notre Dame for the last spot in the playoff, it's going to be Notre Dame, right?
Maybe. I mean, it's a 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
I actually think it's like the selection committee for the men's basketball tournament. I think they really try to get it right. I really do. A lot of times in sports they're just kind of close calls, and but I think for the most part I'll give them credit. They're pretty conscientious about it. By the way, Georgia's nowhere near gone just because they barely lost to Alabama on the road. They're still going to be around and still going to be pretty good. It was impressive the way they came back.
James, we've been joking around today about having an unauthorized biography of Dan Le Batard, a movie coming out, and trying to cast for it. You were actually played by Billy Bob Thornton in an unauthorized biography of Bill Clinton called Primary Colors. How did you feel about his performance?
I talked to him before, and it's hard to be somebody else, but I was pretty honored that Billy Bob would be the person they choose to play me. That famous line from the book Primary Colors described me as he looked as though he was fired out of a love scene from the film Deliverance. So,
oh no, that is not. Look at how that is terribly insulting, and yet
he loves
find
it
funny.
I find it funny.
So a rape in the woods is basically what it is. That's what.
That's what I look like.
And you're laughing.
Yes.
Of course I'm laughing. But it's pretty funny. You got to admit it.
Is there anything that what are the things you care about more than LSU football, James?
My daughters.
Good answer.
So that's
I just think that you follow a team like that, you know what it means to everybody in the state. You're not just pulling for the football team; you're kind of pulling for the whole state. My sister sits at exactly the same seat I sat in for Billy Cannon's Halloween run back in 1959. So that goes pretty deep, doesn't it?
It does. Jessica has been waxing poetic about tailgating and the LSU night crowd, Stugotz. Yeah. It's a really special thing.
Great crowd.
So tell us, James, explain to us, as somebody who's been good with words his entire life, the sense of community involved in having the same seat at that football stadium for 60 years.
So the one thing that LSU does, we don't have an Auburn. We don't have an Iowa State. We don't have a Purdue, okay? In terms of big-time sports, there's only LSU. So you have you don't really have a divided state, if you will. And, of course, the lore of the cannon run back, and we had those seats in like 1959 or so, but I know we had them in 58 too. The whole thing just comes part, and it's a whole state that enjoys it, and it's really fun to be part of it. And I just hope we never lose, but I suspect that's not a realistic hope.
It's a rare place where everyone's connected to, right? Like you find all these places in America that are divided. That's an easy place to remain connected.
And then the night games, because, we're at the end of the summer. So if you live in Boston, you love baseball season and the start of spring because you're sick of the wintertime. Well, we love football season because we're sick of the summertime. In the night games, you get out there and they get pretty juiced up before they get in the stadium. I'll tell you that, man. Oh, they can drink down there. Shit.
That's the truth. That's why the night games are so great. That's the reason. They're drinking all day.
My daddy used to say half the people in Tiger Stadium can't spell LSU.
Just half, huh?
The name of the movie is Carville, Winning is Everything Stupid. It debuts Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern on CNN. What did you like about it?
I like that the director actually worked in politics and covered politics, so he understood a little bit what we're about. And what I hope people see it and to say, I wouldn't mind doing something like that and get involved, because those guys look like they were having a good time. I mean, so much of everything in our culture is demeaning to politics, demeaning to political consultants, demeaning to everything. And what I'm scared is this is how you end up with somebody like Donald Trump. They say, well, the whole goddamn thing is corrupt. You got nothing to lose. Just do that. And I think that's a dangerous philosophy. So I hope people see this and say, well, that guy earned a noble living. That would be my fondest hope of it.
You have been married, as I mentioned, for 30 years to one of the most prominent Republican consultants in America, Mary Madeline. What is the secret? What is the secret to keeping love alive when you're politically opposed? It's a lot of probing, and we would do things and we wouldn't get along. We'd fight and we'd find this. If we talked about this, it was better. It comes with and she's truly a fascinating, great woman. She's a beekeeper. She's a world-class editor. She gardens. She's got great taste. She's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful mother to my two daughters. I mean, of all of the things that you think about that you could have go wrong in a marriage, I think a political difference would not be as high as you might think. How does it go over with her the way the Republican Party stands on women's rights?
I never speak for her. That is where I just, people ask me her opinion on something, and the one or two times that I've offered it, I got my head bitten off. So I'd have to say you'd have to ask her, because
that's how you keep it going.
That's the secret, James.
You learn your lesson.
James, you just answered the question. You answered the question after you didn't answer the question quite as well, because you just answered how it is you stay married for 30 years right there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm surprised that you had a second time where you got your head bitten off. I'm surprised you didn't learn it the first time. You're a smart man.
Sometimes it takes, somebody said this, and I really believe it. The best education in the world is the second kick of a mule.
James, thank you. It has been a pleasure to do this with you. If you have any other sports opinions you want to get out there before you go on your tour talking politics and getting bored talking politics, we'll give you one last chance to give a strong sports opinion on your way out.
Or gambling picks.
All right. I have no idea what's going to happen in the baseball playoffs, and neither does anybody else. The most unpredictable playoff of any professional sport there is. Sports predictions.
Let's do this, James. Give us, for DraftKings, our sugar daddy, give us James Carville's sure thing DraftKings football game of the week this week. A football game you have your eye on the way that you had your eye on the Ravens last weekend.
I gotta talk to my guy.
You have a guy?
Yeah, I got a guy. Okay.
Wow.
ACL. Okay. But I've been so busy with the movie, and I know LSU's off this week, so I got a little space in my sports looking up stuff. But I think we played the Saints and the Chiefs play, and the Saints had a terrible, terrible loss to Atlanta. I think they're a little better than people give them credit for. I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs; they're great, but they've had some tough games. I got to look at the point spread, but there's a rare weekend where I'm going to really take a good hard look at the New Orleans Saints.
All right, there it is. That is close to taking the Saints. James, good seeing you again. Carville winning is everything stupid is Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern on CNN. Pleasure to have you on, sir.
Thank you. Pleasure. A lot of fun being on here. You're a bunch of fun guys. Good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.